What's it like leading a high performing team?
There's a lot that goes into it. Um, every little thing you have to you can't let anything slip. If one thing slips, then the whole everything is, it goes bad. So I think if you want, like me personally, if I want Team 153 to be a high performing team, I have to be a high performing dude every day in and day out, and I have to be able to hold other people to that same high performance that we want to see out of our team. So I think that's the accountability piece in terms of our program.
Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you.
What up?
Let's go. What's up, man?
What
It's,
up?
it's good to see you, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
That's awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, I know we got a short amount of time. I got
Yeah,
other meetings and stuff. Um, but I'm super grateful that you would take this time, bro. Super
no doubt.
grateful.
No doubt.
Okay, so are you cool if we just jump into it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's perfect. That's fine.
Okay. So my understanding is you are the BMOC on the Yale football team.
Yeah.
You're like the
So,
right?
something like that.
Bro, that's huge. Okay, so let me ask you this, Abu. Why do you think you got selected to lead the football team?
I think I think it's the relationships that I have with the guys. Perform my performance on the field goes into it. I think overall I have a good influence. And I think that's a large part of, like, when you look at the word leadership, it's primarily influence. So I think I have a great influence on the team.
And why? How do you think about relationships?
I just think of it as, like, if you're one of my guys, so I gotta, if you need a ride, if you need extra socks for Lyft, if you need, a couple dollars to eat, or if you need me to grab you a meal, like, just little things like that, that's the bare minimum for a friendship. So doing those things consistently, and having hard conversations with guys, having fun conversations, whatever it is, hanging out, just all the small things, and being funny guy. Like, I think that's a lot that goes into it.
Okay, what do you think is your superpower, Abu?
My charisma. Yeah. Yeah.
How have you always had that? How have you developed that?
Um, I think, I don't know, just never feeling like I'm too big for something, or just enjoying every moment, everything that I do. Um Now, it's obviously not going to be football all the time, but finding ways to enjoy things outside of football, that kind of, like, goes into who I am, and just being a real down to earth person, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what people appreciate the most.
Okay, so I was at the Yale basketball game, right? Not too long ago, a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there with big Easy E Eric Lopez, right? The CEO of Arrowhead Leadership Consulting,
Yeah.
and my best friend, and from college, from back in the days, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you see who that guy is sweeping the floor right now in between points?"
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't recognize him. He's like, "Bro, that's a boo." I'm like, "What?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's a boo." I'm like, what's he doing sweeping the floors? And he said, I guess because the how Yale does the scholarships, like,
Yeah.
right, something like that. And so,
Yeah.
like, how are you able, Abu, like, how are you able? So you're super successful football player with aspirations to play in the league,
Yep.
which it looks like it's very promising, right?
Yeah.
How how have you been able to stay humble, not to jump on Kendrick Lamar's
Yeah.
bandwagon, you know what I'm saying? How have you been able to stay humble even though you're this successful college football player, you're the captain of the football team,
Yeah.
very good chance you're going to be in the league,
Yeah.
before we say Shazam.
Yeah.
How do you stay humble?
Um, doing the little things. Everything that, people wouldn't expect me to do, I try to do because like, obviously as you become the captain of Yale, you're of a certain status, but I don't want that status to take away from who I really am. So like I go outside with the guys. Like I go hang out with. I don't want to be the captain that's like, oh, he calls the shots, but he doesn't really hang out with us. Like I don't want to sit on a pedestal to to my teammates that I'll be playing with in the fall. So just whatever it is, if I gotta sweep the locker room, which is mandatory for us, or stay after and clean the nutrition station. It's just all the small things that you wouldn't expect a guy of my status to do.
That's fire. And like, have you always been like that, Abu, or is it something you learned humility, or you've always been humble?
I think it's something that, my mom has instilled in me from a very young age. Obviously with the school and football balance, you can have as much fun on the field as you want, but you still have to go back in the classroom and do the 2+2 or do the multiplication, everything. And I think it's something that like I was always driven by being humble because like in high school, I would go out there, 5 touchdowns, 200, 300 yards a game, a couple interceptions, but I would walk back from the facility, like just by myself late night. I think it gives me like that specific situation, like that just gave me a time to like, come back to reality. Like, yes, I just did all of that, but like I'm still human. I still need to do the things that I need to do.
How have you grown as a leader during your time at Yale?
So like at Yale, it's like there's different stages of leadership, and I think like I'll give you the breakdown. Like coming in my first year, it was kind of like hold myself accountable, you know, bring a couple guys along around me, to kind of foster that leadership and like step up as a guy in my class. Then my sophomore offseason as a winter dog captain, it's like, okay, now you're in a position to start delegating leadership and making sure certain guys are of a certain standard. That's like the epitome of bringing guys along. Our the way we split up our team into 8 winter dog teams. It's just to bring guys along, hold guys accountable, and show guys the standards. So when it's their if they have the opportunity to become a winter dog captain, they know the way. Or in the fall, if we need them to have a certain group situated, they know the way. And then obviously now as the captain, it's knowing all that I know and having all those experiences of leadership, now kind of tossing that to other guys on the team, giving because I've learned like in these short couple months of being captain, yes, I'm the point man, but not all the stress is on me. It's more about how can I help other guys become myself because in terms of leadership. So whether it's, after we have this thing where, you after we finish lifting, you check the weight room, you got to clean it up, obviously, clean up after yourself. And I could just go around and be like, yeah, this is good. Like I can walk down each rack and be like, yes, these things are good. But what benefit is that towards the team in terms of building leadership? So moments like that, I use different things that we do in the off season as opportunities to delegate leadership. If I see a young guy stepping up in the weight room, all right, now give him the opportunity to speak in front of the team because he's doing the things he needs to do in order to take the next step.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Who has had an impact on your leader development?
It's hard to pinpoint one person. There's a couple people. Obviously here at Yale, Coach Reno, former head coach, Coach Vashel, he's been tremendous throughout these couple months of me being a captain. And our sports performance coach Sebastian Little. He's like I meet with him bi-weekly and we just talk we talk different points of leadership. And then obviously back home, I have my parents, a couple high school teachers, just a lot of people within the community. I like the I don't like the in terms of leadership, I like to take different points from different people and then kind of make my own way.
What, how would you describe your leadership philosophy?
I think very vision driven. So kind of, as you start something new, set a vision for yourself. You'll consciously think about the points. If we always write, like me personally, I always write down my goals and that's my vision. And then subconsciously, in my mind, I'd be like, okay, I know that I wrote that down. I might not remember it every day, but it's something. It's those are different points to help me get to where I want to get to. And in terms of Yale football team 153, I kind of wrote a vision. Obviously, everybody wants to win a national championship, but there's a different process for every different team to be able to get there. And I think the biggest thing right now is focusing on those different points and make sure we're hitting those different points to be able to be on pace to that vision.
How do you need to change and grow to reach the goals that you've laid out?
I think I'm a dude that's like I'm very if I put my mind to it, I know it'll get done. But that's now it's not just me, it's my 103 brothers. So I think the biggest thing the team needs from me is probably patience and navigation to be able to steer the ship in the right direction, whether we have a miss or whether somebody messes up, that shouldn't deter our forward progress.
Yeah, love it. And okay, and so we met. So Carol, I want to shout out
Yes.
Super Carol from Farnham Realty Real Estate
Yeah,
there in New Haven. She's beast mode, man. She's a
yeah, no
machine.
doubt,
That lady is no joke.
no
Who was
doubt.
the sister of Big Eric? So they're both incredible. And it's been fascinating watching both of them over the years.
Yeah.
They've been a couple kind of coaches and mentors of mine. Um, how do you, so shout out to Carol and Eric, again, how do you feel, Abu, you need to grow in order to play at that next level at the
Yeah.
league?
Um, Obviously physically, it's getting stronger, faster, quicker. And then I think mentally is being able to comprehend everything that's happening in front of my face and then being able to react. So that mental piece goes with that physical piece when you talk quickness, reaction, like everything that you would need. I think physically, like numbers wise, I'm there. Obviously, I have to, change the body composition a little bit, but like for the most part, I'm there physically. My position could change. I see myself as a hybrid, like so like a safety, maybe outside linebacker type of guy. But I think overall is continuing to develop my knowledge of the game because that'll be big at the next level.
Got it. Got it. Got it. How, what's it like leading a high performing team?
There's a lot that goes into it. Um, every little thing you have to like, you can't let anything slip. If one thing slips, then the whole everything is, it goes bad. So I think if you want, like me personally, if I want Team 153 to be a high performing team, I have to be a high performing dude every day in and day out, and I have to be able to hold other people to that same high performance that we want to see out of our team. So I think that's the accountability piece in terms of our program.
Love it. How how do you, okay, so let's say you got a player who may not be playing to the level that they're capable of.
Yes.
How do you hold people accountable?
I try to, my biggest thing is I try to get guys to look at the bigger picture. Um, it's not just about that moment, it's what you want for yourself as a person, whether you want to continue playing football or not. Each little thing that you do creates a habit. And if you're doing the good things, you'll create good habits. If you're doing the not so good things, you'll have not so good habits. So I think, and then another thing I do as well is like I ask guys like, what do you truly want out of Yale, the Yale football experience? What do you want out of this? And then based on their answer, I hold them to that. So there's a lot of guys on the team. We like some guys write it down, some guys just know it off the top of their head, and it's like, all right, you said you want this, this, and this. So when you aren't doing that, that, and that, I'm gonna call you out on it. And I have no problem, like me or not, I have no problem calling you out on it.
And how do you feel about other people calling you out?
Oh, I would love for other people to call me out because that's only making me better. Not you won't be obviously there's not a mirror in front of you 24/7, so you can't see the things that you're doing wrong or right. So that's why other people are around you to be able to push you and hold you accountable. And if in terms of a team setting, coworkers, like if they're not holding you to a certain standard, then that's just making the program worse.
Love it. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. How, let's see, how do I want to ask this next question? Hmm, how, okay, I'm going to ask it this way. If I were to ask your team,
Yes.
how well does Abu manage his emotions?
Yeah.
What would they tell me?
On the field, I have a quick temper, but in terms of relationships in the day to day, I I'm getting close to being patient. I wouldn't say I'm a very patient person, but it's something that I'm working on. And I try to be as patient as possible. And when guys tell me different situations, I try to think about it first before I instantly snap or just things like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Because and I think you and I talked about this when we were room dogging it for a little bit there
Yeah.
was at the level you're at and the level you're going, the difference between the starter and the second string is
Is
probably a
Yep.
very, very fine line. And so sometimes that difference maker can be between the ears,
Yes.
right? And how that player manages their emotions
You're right.
or doesn't,
Right.
right? And we know all kinds of examples you know, of folks that can do a good job, but it takes one moment to like,
Yes.
what I'm saying? So that's great that you're aware of that. That's great. And that you're working on it, right? You said that's
Yeah.
an area that you're working on. So,
Yeah.
so that's great. What type of coach brings the best out of you?
Um, a coach that can, I think a a coach that has a very like their mindset is developed. I can I can easily get along with the push, let's go, let's work, that's anybody, because that's kind of like the mindset, like push, get better, get work hard. But a coach that can really sit there and develop your knowledge of the game and then the way you play just by small minor tips that they've experienced in, all their years of coaching. I think that's a coach I appreciate the most. And last year, like Coach Reno, he obviously he's not a position coach, but he's seen a couple dudes weren't tackling well. I was one of those dudes. He said, "All right, we're gonna start a tackle club after practice. Get maybe 20 reps on the tackle dummy." And then I finished the year with 90 something tackles. So I think just little things like that is goes a long way.
Yeah, that's great. How'd your season go
Uh, What sophomore year or this past year?
this past year?
It went pretty well. I'll go I'll go down the list for you. First team All American, Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year. Uh, Buck Buchanan, two-time Buck Buchanan finalist. those are just the main ones. I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but obviously it's good to remember those things. But what can I do next year to either get those same accolades or even more? That's kind of my mindset right now.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
Okay. What happens? How do you handle this? So let's say, let's say there's some rumblings on, there's a little bit of drama going on between the O line. Well, let's say within the O line,
yeah,
there's some grumblings or some little
yeah.
tension, little drama. How do you address that?
I think as a DB, I'm not really around the alignment a lot, so I go to a point man. This is the opportunity to give someone a leadership point and say, "Hey, go figure that out. Go resolve it." Because at the end of the day, you don't have to like everybody. You don't have to be buddy buddy with everybody, but you have to respect everybody in order to chase what we want to chase.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So in that situation, you would delegate.
Yes, I would
Now, what
say.
so
I
what
would.
if that
I
guy
would go ahead.
what if that guy he goes and he comes back and like, hey boss, hey captain, like they're not feeling what I'm bringing.
Yes.
How do you support that or handle that?
So then it's a conversation with, that the guy who I appointed the leadership to and the position coach. That's a conversation between them. And now the position coach can kind of give him more insight. Because I only know so much about a position group, but he can get more insight from that coach because they've probably seen it before.
Got it. Okay.
And
Okay.
then finally, if not, then it goes to like then I'll have to really sit down and break down what's going on and how we can resolve it. But I
Okay.
try to
Okay.
keep it within the room so that you know s- those situations, those hypotheticals usually happen with young guys. So I try to get a senior to kind of dissolve it so they can, all right, now if they're trying to learn their plays, that guy knows he can go talk to that senior because they have had a hard conversation.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to be remembered for as the captain?
I think obviously every captain wants to have a great year, but I think overall, um, my selflessness, just being catering to everybody as best as I can. Because like before I was captain, I was cutting hair, and like I'm still squeezing guys in to be able to cut hair and go out to dinner or hang out, or you need a ride, you need me to pick you up, and just everything. I want guys to be able to reach out to me and say, "Hey, do you have a wrench? Do you have a socket wrench? Yeah, I got you." Little things like that.
Love it.
Yeah.
What will you miss the most after you graduate?
The culture here at Yale, the culture within the football team is you don't see it anywhere else in the country. Obviously, guys are playing, they're getting paid to play. So is the loyalty and that brotherhood feeling of a college football program is no longer. But here at Yale, you know, I'm playing for the guy next to me because me and him, we have the same goals. We want to win. So I'm going as hard as I can for him, and he's going as hard as he can for me. And you don't, I mean, as the game is changing, you don't really see that anymore. But that's something I will miss about this program and Yale in general.
Yeah, that's fire. That's great, bro. Okay. So are you cool when you make it to the league?
Yeah,
We do another interview and I can check on your growth and
yeah,
progress. Are you cool with
no
that?
doubt. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool
Okay,
with
good. Thank
that.
you, Abu. This has been fire, man. I totally
Yeah.
appreciate your time, brother.
No problem. I
And
appreciate you having me.
yeah, yeah, of course. Okay, Abu. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so
All
much.
right. No problem. You have a good one.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.